We are here in Oswego County, New York, doing some water chestnut spraying with Chase Enterprises, doing work for the Oswego County Soil and Water District. We're utilizing a DJI T30 spraying drone. A lot of permits and stuff had to be put in place to do this. This water chestnut is an invasive species that grows here in the river. Chokes out swimming areas, boat docks, fishing spots, kind of a real nuisance to people that live here along the river. And gone untreated, it'll plug off this whole canal. So you can see here that it progresses all the way down around the corner there and actually chokes out some of those boat docks. So we're doing a treatment here. This is an automated operation. The drone has a flight plan that was pre-programmed into it based on some aerial photography of the area that we did ahead of time a couple days ago, and then we created a flight plan. This drone is turning itself on and off automatically. It will move itself over. I'm going to get in position where you can kind of see this fairly well. So this is applying 5 gallons per acre of a product called ClearCast, and that will chemically treat these water chestnuts and prevent them from producing seeds this year, which will hopefully in the future cut down on how much of this is growing in these areas, obviously. So we're spraying about a 15-foot wide path. The drone is zigzagging back and forth. And you can see that it stops its application when it gets to the end of its row, and then it starts another path. And it is just moving back and forth in a pattern until it completes its flight plan. So there you can see it shut off. It's going to turn on again and head right towards us, spraying about 15-foot wide pattern. The rotor wash kind of blows it down against the plants. As it comes out into the open water, it shuts off the spray, moves itself over, turns the spray back on, and progresses out across the water chestnut bed. So we'll sit right here and watch it for a minute. And again, this is all happening, it's an automated application. We are not flying the drone is flying itself. We obviously have control of it. If something goes wrong, we can stop the mission. If it loses communication with our controller, the drone will just stop and hover in place. The drone has onboard radar, and it's looking 360 degrees around it. If it encounters an obstacle, it will stop and ask our operator what it wants to do, and it'll just hover in place. This drone has about a 10-foot wingspan. It's capable of carrying 150 pounds. And we're operating it from down there on that barge. That's where the controller is. It's all GPS satellite connected. It has RTK antenna on shore that enhances the GPS signal so that it's accurate within a couple of centimeters. And it's going to just continue to move back and forth until it runs out of product or until it runs out of battery. The battery will last about 20 minutes. A tank full, it carries about 7.5 gallons of product. We're applying at 5 gallons per acre, so one tank full is about 1.5 acres, and it'll take about 4 minutes or so to treat that acre and another minute to commute back and forth. So our total mission time in between loads is about 7 minutes. Once the payload is done, it'll automatically stop, fly back to our barge down there, and land back in the same place it took off from. We'll refill the tank, change out the battery, and start and restart the mission. It'll fly back to the place that it left off and continue the mission. You can see that the nozzles are pulsating a little bit. Each nozzle, there's 16 nozzles on this drone. Each nozzle has pulse width modulation, which what it does is it opens and closes the nozzle up to hundreds of times a second, and that allows us to adjust how much material comes out so that we can adjust the gallons per acre applied during flight and regardless of our speed. So we're currently spraying at about a 7-8 mile an hour speed. We can spray at up to 15 miles an hour or as wind and weather conditions will allow. This can be done, this particular application is under a pretty stringent aquatic permit with the New York State DEC. Water sampling had to be done. The product we're using is approved for potable water application like this, but there's an awful lot of regulations that go into conducting this application. The New York State DEC requires certified pesticide applicators that have right-of-way certification, aquatic certification, and aerial pilot certification. The FAA is also involved. There's a permit with the FAA called a 137 with certain exemptions from that in order to operate this UAV. Again, we're Chase Enterprises based out of Oswego, New York. We provide this kind of service all over the Northeast and Midwest. You can contact us at area code 315-216-6337 or on Facebook at Alan Chase Enterprises, Inc. This has got to be just about done, and I'm going to follow it back to our base and then end this video. We're at almost 7 minutes here now, so I'm expecting we're going to run out here momentarily. Again, this is a DJI T30 drone. It operates over 55-pound gross weight, which requires special certifications from the FAA in order to do that. It is treated much like it was a true airplane, and the permits required for it are the same permits from the FAA required for crop dusters, helicopters, fixed-wing aircraft, things of that nature. That are out doing this kind of work. So it just ran out. It's going to climb to a safe altitude, and then it's going to turn back to where it came from, and it's going to start a flight right back to the dock. And then our pilot is going to monitor it landing to make sure that it lands in the appropriate place where we want it and ready to be refilled. On the dock here, we're putting herbicide in it and then pumping just dilute water from the river right into it, and we'll change the battery each time. We have a generator here on the dock with us that we can recharge the batteries with. That's the battery that he's carrying now, and then we will just refill this with chemical, drop a new battery in, start the mission again, and it'll go right back to where it left off and just continue on. Thank you for watching.